James, you won't slide underneath there. You won't do it.
No balls.
You won't slide underneath there, James.
Will you
No
res
balls,
me?
pussy.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
He was right. You didn't slide underneath.
Clip that from my perspective. Good morning, YouTube. In this video, we're going to do some commentary over gameplay. These are 4 examples of me either attempting to clutch or actually clutching a game. Throughout the videos, I'm going to be explaining step by step everything that I'm doing in the game. Maybe not in my best interest, since my opponents in the game can also watch these videos, but my hope is that this is helpful to new players, returning players, or people who've been grinding the game like myself the entire time and are just looking to get better. So if you find this video helpful to you, make sure to click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. So this first game is going to start with me and Ape last alive. It's kind of a hijacked zone, and we're trying to work this edge of the zone. Obviously, we've got hard cover from the gas station itself. We've got a dart on the gas station. Oops. Oh, yeah, you did.
One kid to the north. He's on the ground right now, like by the beach.
But the problem area is, for whatever reason, a bunch of people have accumulated to the north side of the zone. And there's not a whole lot of space between us and them. We know that we've got third parties to the south and southwest. Southwest all the way out on the peninsula. So we're trying to get control of this north edge of the zone because we know that when the zone collapses next, they're going to be forced into our position. They're probably not going to run across the beach. They're going to come uphill and fight us, which is going to present the third party that just tried to thirst ape there with an opportunity to shoot us in the back. I imagine they all went down. The terrain makes it kind of awkward.
No, by the cliff.
It's hard to keep track of who's where, and everybody that's in the kind of high pressure situation, this team over here that Ape's pushing now, they're playing very passive for whatever reason. They're in a bad situation they need to work their way out of, but they're not really trying to, and it's actually making things harder on us. I saw somebody who had made some progress down to the gas station. And now, while Ape's doing his thing down here, I'm trying to hold off the third party. Doesn't make a difference, though. And from here on in the video, I'm last alive. Here on in this game, that is. This guy's movements and shots are good. I know that he's a competent player. Unlike everybody else on the map, he's actually making a move. Oh, it is? So since he's the only one that appears to be making a play of any kind, he's priority number 1 for me now. Once I see him move and shoot a little bit. The original team to the north is coming up on the dart now, but again, this has priority. I can't close out this gunfight. I get into a really compromised position here. Fortunately, that team that's holding down the building to my south closes the gunfight out for me. They kind of had to bail me out there. And this is where it really starts to go wrong. I take away their dart, I take away their information. I didn't get any damage on that guy when I turned away, so there was no reason for him to not immediately re-peek. What we did wrong here was just a lack of control. We just didn't get everything under control. We didn't eliminate that north side of the map. We couldn't clear it out in time. Abe made his play. It didn't work out. If I had gone in there with him, maybe it would have worked. Maybe we just would have gotten shot in the back if I hadn't put pressure on the south team. So that was an example of everything going wrong. This next game is one that I actually clutched successfully in the next 3 that I show the end of. This one and the next 2 are examples of things going according to plan. So I've lost my team here, and I know that there are at least 2 out there. But they're not pushing, they're far away. My team and I were kind of split up because we got caught on rotation here, obviously, coming out of the zone. So I hit my teammate's bag and then go for a very, very wide rotation without really any information, so I'm a little on edge here. Because I fully expect the way that team initially engaged with us, it was on a gatekeep, a deliberate gatekeep. They heard shots, and they moved into position, took out 2 of us before we could do anything. And so now I'm rotating blind. And I'm using the Skulker the entire way, trying to keep my audio clear for footsteps, and I grapple fly off that tree obviously to rotate faster, but also so I can get an aerial view. I looked over my shoulder there when I was in midair. I still didn't see anybody. I still don't know where they are. So at this point, I'm guessing either they've gotten really far ahead of me to the west and are waiting for me there, or they just broke off and hit an eastward rotation for whatever reason. And their main concern was just getting to zone. They didn't intend to necessarily wipe the whole team that they were gatekeeping, us. They got one bag out of the 2 kills there, so it was kind of odd to me that they would completely disengage and just let me go here, but that's what ended up happening. And I think I hit another grapple fly here to get across the big open space in front of me, but also again to get an aerial view and see if I can spot anybody. I don't. But now we have some activity and wagers. There's some shooting there. I can tell it's 2 teams relatively close. I just take a cursory glance here and then immediately grapple fly again, because if anybody looks at me out there, I'm just dead. There's not enough cover to work with. And I heard spam guns, augers. So I grapple fly into the corn here, and for whatever reason, while this guy is shooting at them with an auger, I get shot in the back as I approach, but I use the skulker to get the kill. I guess he didn't pay any mind to the fact that they were shooting at someone that wasn't him, to his immediate right. The trophy timing was really lucky. I've started to try to get my trophy out sooner rather than later. Normally I would do what I just did and heal first, then throw the trophy. Sometimes that cost me. There, I got lucky to the millisecond. If there were ever a losing gunfight, this would be it. I'm going to shoulder peek the side here real quick just to make sure they aren't pushing off all that damage, because they got a ton of it. I was one shot. There are at least 2 of them. Fortunately, they didn't push. Debatable. Not the worst idea in the world to just hold the high ground. Obviously, they don't know what I'm working with behind that shed, so they could have pushed into anything, even though I was initially low health. I've got soft cover from the corn that I'm in, but otherwise I'm just rotating in the open here, so I'm swerving. I'm going to burn my last 2 grapples here just to get to the last shred of hard cover before I have to make the final rotation into White Barn, where I can work for the rest of the game. Zone permitting. Now they're not shooting at me, and I'm confused as to why. And then 2 teams start shooting at each other from over there very close. I think one of them maybe was originally in Blue Barn. This part gets confusing to me. I think one team was in Blue Barn, and then there's a team at Wagers. I don't know if one pushed up to the other and then fell back. But I realize now that I've got zone, I've got a third-party opportunity, so... And I switched to the 2 times off the elo there because at this stage, like in the barns, E4, that section of the map around the barns, everything's pretty long range, and the only shots I'm hearing are with an auger, and it's going to be hard enough to compete with DMRs with an AR of any kind, so I want to at least have enough magnification to see what I'm shooting at more clearly. It's going to be at long range for the most part, and I know that. And those shots tell me that somebody's actually rotating straight towards me through the corn. I only see 1, but it ends up being 2. And I think this might have been who was holding me to begin with. I have the wrong gun out for this, but that's okay. I just roll with it. People's tendency to throw at close range like that. This one?
Yeah. He's in the...
Confusing. If he had made the nade through the window, it probably still would have been blocked by my trophy. And Zill is calling out to me that he went to the white shed. Deductive reasoning says he's in this corner, and he is. And that grapple that came from the north was not a teammate of his. He's one of the last 2 in the zone. The fact that that guy pushed past me with a stealth perk, got to the other side of the barn, and then shot at me after I was behind cover told me that he was a distraction. So that's why I immediately spun around and started looking the other way. I expected a stealth push. A push rather with a stealth perk from the other direction. It never came. Last place I shot him from was that window, so when I went to reposition, I changed elevation too. I jumped out of the barn. And it worked. They were looking for me from the barn doors. Normally what I do here is just push that and try to force a win out of a coin flip gunfight. I used my better judgment here, got the position. Those mesh mines told me that they were not looking for a short range gunfight or shorter range. Obviously they had an auger. And that one ended in a win.
Up to the west.
Right. So this is a construction zone, every good player's worst nightmare, except that most of the time when it's a quote-unquote construction zone, it ends up pulling to the north. And these big open fields definitely favor the more skillful player.
Dead.
A lot of open space, a lot of rolling hills, the cover is pretty two-dimensional, pretty basic. It usually comes down to just a raw contest of gun skill, which is nice. Pretty rare in Blackout. But that's how every battle royale should be. It can't be just all gun skill all the time. Otherwise, it's too two-dimensional, and there needs to be an element of luck. Something that helps more casual players get wins more often. If the best player in the game won every single time, the game would die immediately because there would be no one playing it besides those best players. 2. Okay.
Needed a trophy, so. There's a skulker in there too. I'm gonna drop 5 grabs there too.
We've got 8 people left, and apparently all of them are in construction, so we're just splitting up loot, expecting that whenever this breaks out, we're not going to have time to hit bags.
Go Bills.
Go Bill. So we're just making sure that everybody has what they need, because there probably won't be any more looting once the shooting starts again. Oh, see, when you put it like that, I understand.
Yep.
Construction campers is my favorite, Jeremiah. The only thing we have to worry about here is this peninsula.
On the very, very top.
From the ground, you can't see to the edges here, so I think I do a kind of a half lap around the peninsula just to make sure.
Get someone out here.
What's up, Rushane? So we got him on dart, and I think Abe shot that dart up really high, and Abe being the token honey badger of the team, every team has one. He's going to go in and try to kill them in their home, which is construction. My mentality is always let the zone do its job. But at this point, it's not guaranteed that we're going into that they're going to get pushed out of construction. So if you were ever going to take them off guard by pushing in, now would be the time. And it's not as high risk, high reward as it seems. If he goes in there and kills 1 or 2, if he can get a full kill or 2, it increases our odds of winning significantly. So it's productive here, even if he dies. Well, okay. Point being, it's not exactly a reckless play.
Yeah, smoke for this crate game.
And so now they've lost zone almost entirely.
Guess I think they're all watching it from somewhere.
One fell to their death? Couldn't get... Oh, that's the solo? Wait,
Yeah.
there were actually
Yeah.
3 teams, I think. Nowadays, people camp so hard in the final zone. We're trying to... If it seems like we're putting an undue amount of energy into figuring out who was who and how they died, we're trying to figure out how many teams are left here. We know there are at least 2. But as Ape goes in there and gets knocks and full kills, we can hopefully kind of start to deduce some. I mean, sometimes there will be, I think a later game is an example of this. There are like 8 people left in the zone, and it's 8 teams. It's 8 solos. So stuff like that is helpful to know if you can figure it out in advance. That's what we're trying to do.
They're not gonna
I
win.
do
It's
not.
about to be in storm.
The chatter here is my realization that Ape just turned over a war machine to the enemy. But he explained to us outside the zone they can't hit his bag anyways. There's no way they can get to him. And we didn't have a trophy, so construction campers plus a war machine and no trophy equals death. Not a factor this time, fortunately. And of course they have a getaway vehicle parked on top, and they all pile into it together. They're going to try to jump out and surround us, which is why I have my smokes ready. They're in the storm.
They're gonna be weak now from the storm.
We're taking this gunfight more or less in the open. With the smoke, I can create circumferential cover. so that they can't just shoot me from 360 degrees. This guy lands in the open, and I guess wanted that rock more than the gunfight. He's looking at whoever shot last, which was my teammate.
Same spot. Pretty much. He's hitting.
And we get the dub. Even though we got jumped out on from a chopper.
Might not work, but fuck it.
But because we had taken the time to make sure and divide everything up beforehand, make sure everybody had what they needed, we were still able to win. We were okay, and
Kids here.
didn't take it down in the process between me and my teammate Euron.
There's a car out on the peninsula. I'm gonna stop the car right here.
This is another construction zone.
I'll just whatever. I'll just ride it down.
If I remember correctly, though, this one pulls a lot more to the north, which is good. What we don't want is construction. I'm putting my trauma kit on here, even though I'm pretty far away, because I can tell that my team is in trouble based on the dart. That's not what we thought we were getting into. And it's going to get heated when I get up here. Someone's shooting at me from behind, so I throw the smoke early to hopefully help them lose interest while I push up on what's left of my team here. And try to be some help. But obviously there's more than one team involved here, and a vehicle passing through the smoke over and over again. GG's to them. Their shots and movement were good. And I'm last alive. Thank you. There's someone shooting at me from the north, and then there's this vehicle passing through the smoke trying to hit me over and over again. Okay. But I'm listening for it, and then keeping an eye on it on the dart. I know I'm safe here.
Love to see it.
That will do.
There was a car behind you. It might have been him actually. It's like a SUV out on the peninsula.
And this is, again, a situation where I don't expect to be able to hit any bags after this stage of the game. I think that when the zone gets smaller and based on the zone itself, construction, everybody tends to come out all at once when they absolutely have to. So I want to make sure I've got everything in order beforehand, because I'm not going to be able to hit a bag. At best, I might be able to pull something off the ground, but even that's a long shot. And this is me trying to solve a blackout puzzle where I can't jump out between the vehicles and... Oh my. Well, GG's. That's okay, though.
GG's.
My team is there to talk me through it.
I don't want to. I don't want to. Now I'm going to exit the passenger side.
So I've got a skulker and a deady. I dropped the skulker here and pick up the deady because now I can just double pop mobility and deady, and again, no more inventory management after this. Double pop the deady, that's long enough to last for the entire game, or at least it should be, if we're able to move around enough.
5 people up.
Smokes are going to be crucial if I get into a 1v multiple, since the terrain is pretty much completely open here. There's really no other way to...
Pretty much identical circle.
Oh shit.
There's no other way to work cover. It's the kind of thing where I could hit every bullet and still die.
Are they?
They're mine.
Oh,
They're
that's
mine.
yours.
So we need something to create some confusion.
We're okay.
And I'm headed out to the same part of the map. I like the peninsula because it gives you that hill cover. It's not ideal when they're still up in construction.
Why?
When they start jumping out, it's really nice to have. You can rotate around, get a knock, pull off it, rotate around, heal, reload, whatever.
Just sit in the corner in the glitch, maybe.
So if I didn't have these perks, ordinarily I would stay here, and I would wait for the zone to do its job and pull them out of construction. Even still, even with the smoke, even with a trophy, even with a just fill in the blank, it still would be pretty dicey fighting a team on this terrain. At this point, we don't know whether it's one team or a team and a quarter, rather, or 5 teams. I don't see anybody up top. There's no shooting. So I'm just going to take advantage of my perks and go in with Deddy.
Might be a bunch of solos.
The problem with spots like this nowadays is people will post up within just like a foot or two away from being in each other's line of sight. So you shoot one and they get hit by another and they're not on the same team. So with the mobility, I figure I can move around enough and get behind cover if I need to. We're looking, we're listening. No one is moving. Mm-hmm. To the north of me right now on the bottom floor is a wall glitch most of you probably know about, but they can hide in the wall, shoot out of it. You can't shoot in. They can see you. You can't see them. So I'm avoiding that as I move around. But otherwise, I'm just checking generally everywhere on the bottom floors. I see no one except for this guy.
Oh, right there.
Not moving.
Handled.
And he, like myself, was interested in the shots. I hear footsteps here, but I don't know if it's one or multiple. I couldn't really tell, so I use the smoke. Since I don't have complete information now, they don't either. What I heard was that guy running away. I get some damage, but not the kill. That's okay.
What's that shot? Yeah.
And then we hear a wingsuit. He wisely wingsuits into my smoke, but then lays down here.
Yep, a bunch of solos.
Mm-hmm. So 3 up, and we saw 1 run somewhere towards the middle of the zone, and this guy jumped out. They meet each other, don't get along. We'll gladly third party and just hope that it wasn't the Mog guy who won.
V1.
It wasn't.
1v1.
Shh. Mm-hmm. I've got level 2 armor, and they have a sniper. And a lot of distance between us. What I don't want to do here is take the long-range gunfight and just flip the coin over and over again and give them the chance to eventually get lucky and hit me in the head and win the game. So we rotate with Deddy. If you like this video, if you find that it was helpful to you, I hope that you'll click the subscribe button. Like the video if you do. More importantly than that, I hope to catch you in the next live stream.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.